Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar about the ServiceNow Quebec release organized by ASP. I am Corneel, Inside Sales Representative at ASP, and I'll be welcoming you to this afternoon's webinar. The goal of this webinar is to inform IT professionals who want to discover the possibilities of the ServiceNow release. And for this reason, we'll share some insights into the new exciting features that come along with this release. Before we start, I want to verify if you can hear me clearly and see my screen clearly. And you could confirm this by sending an OK or thumbs up in the chat window. So let's have a look and see if we can get a verification on that. Okay. For the moment not, but I believe everything should be working fine. Okay. For your information, you can also send us questions in this chat window, and then these questions will be afterwards answered by our team. And please do be aware that this webinar is also being recorded. Okay, so who are we? Who is ASP? Maybe for those who might not know us that well, here is some background information on us. Historically speaking, ASP is a system integrator and a managed service provider. However, over the past few years, we've now decided to put a bigger emphasis on cloud solutions. And that is why we've become a fully fledged ServiceNow partner with its own team of ServiceNow consultants. Now, we thus want to help organizations to digitally transform by providing new ways of working, which enable these businesses to work more efficiently across departments and applications. This is done by means of process or workflow automation, cloud integration, as well as software intelligence. And this evidently includes ServiceNow, sorry, but also other platforms such as Delboomi and Dynatrace. And by offering these future-proof services, we want to help organizations to really understand their context of work, being what employees and customers do or need, and what problems they experience, so that we can help provide the organization with relevant solutions. Coming back to our historical background and thus experience as a managed service provider and system integrator, this really helps us in enabling facing technical integrations or technical problems concerning, for instance, ServiceNow. So that really helps us and puts us with absolute confidence against these challenges. Now let's get this webinar started by going over the agenda for today. Firstly, we have our ServiceNow expert Hans, who will briefly take you through our history with ServiceNow, after which he will elaborate on the UI builder. Secondly, our colleague Florent will go over important updates on the Flow Designer and Flow variables, as well as improvements on mobile. And thirdly, we have our colleague Romain, who will go over reporting enhancements. And with all this info, you'll get to know what these powerful new features bring. And afterwards, we'll also have a Q&A in which we can answer possible questions that you have. Okay, it's been very nice welcoming you all to this webinar. Now my colleague Hans, Florent and Romain will take over and guide you, plus tell you all about the new Quebec release. And I'll see you back at the end of this webinar. So now I give the word to Hans. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Corneel. Thank you very much for the introduction. Before we dive into the Quebec release and all the interesting stuff in there, let me first quickly introduce myself. So my name is Hans van der Elst, and I'm with ASP for almost 8 years now. I used to work as an account manager within ASP, but since 2017, I am focusing fully on our ServiceNow offering. And as you can see on the slide, we signed a partnership with ServiceNow in 2016. So we are today a sales and services partner of ServiceNow. We are also, if you take a look at the level of partnerships, we are at the premier level active in the Benelux market. I've put on the slide technology partner in italic. Why? Because that is something that we are, let's say, in the process of becoming also a technology partner, being able to support our customers with custom in building and developing custom apps on the platform. Strategic means also that we are sponsoring events from ServiceNow. So as an example, next week there is the Future of Work tour of ServiceNow. It is a Benelux/Nordics organization, and ASP is a sponsor of that event. So don't hesitate to register if not done yet. I mean, it's a ServiceNow event, and the content looks very, very promising. Important here is that we are a partner and a customer ServiceNow. So we at ASP internally, we also use ServiceNow to serve our internal customers, so our employees, and also our external customers. And with ServiceNow, as with everything we do within ASP, we really want to be technical experts, as in mastering the platforms, all the ins and outs, and really going into detail of the ServiceNow platform. That is also one of the reasons why we are not partnering with, let's say, competitive solutions, because we really believe that focus is the key to success. So that is why we put all our energy on one platform. I mean, and we will, let's say, if we succeed, it will be with ServiceNow. So that is very, very clear. We started with ITSM from the beginning. Why? Because that was let's say, the closest to our nature. We were and still are an IT company, so we live that from a day-to-day basis. So all the things happening in ITSM, all the processes, we know these things, we live them. So that was, let's say, a natural thing to start with ITSM. And then later on, we added ITOM and ITBM. So that is really let's say, if you call it in the ServiceNow terminology, the IT workflows. But we are also looking into expanding the offering to what we call customer workflows and the OCSM offering. So that is where we are with our partnership today. Now, what are the services that we provide to our customers? So we help our customers with the implementation of the standard ServiceNow modules. We can also build them if there's a use case, a workflow that is not, let's say, available out of the box on the platform. We can help our customers building that workflow. We also take care of the instances of our customers. So let's say the day-to-day maintenance, we guide them through upgrades. We check that if you have integrations running, that the integrations keep on running. We check the error logs, etc. So we really take care of the health of the instance. We can also integrate with other applications because, as you know, ServiceNow is not living on its own in an organization. It needs to interface or to integrate with other business applications in your landscape. We can help you if you want to, let's say, sell ServiceNow internally and you're not able to convince who needs to be convinced. We can help you building that business case. Can also help you. That's then more from a technical point of view. Help you with solution designs of your implementation, and we also can help you, let's say, training, and that being end user training or administrator training or service desk training. So we can really help you train your users. So what is the ServiceNow team? So today we are a team of 5 people, each with his own or her own background and let's say specialities. And really, I mean, important to state here is that all people are certified, because not only because ServiceNow requests that, but because also we really want to master what we do. So this is the team as is today. You will get the chance to meet also, as mentioned by Cornel, 2 of my colleagues here, Romain Florent, will join us later on in the presentation. Now, just a few words. I mentioned that we are also a customer of ServiceNow. So, and this is just to give you an idea what we at ASP are doing with ServiceNow. So we are doing incident management on the platform. That is quite logical. It was one of the first things. But then later on, we also added timesheet registration. So our people, our system engineers and our consultants, they log their time in ServiceNow. We have customers who can request stuff. So we build in request management with a portal. Then, because I mentioned timesheet registration, that is for the things you do at work, but you don't work all the time. You're also allowed to have some pay time off. So the request of holidays and all the approval mechanism and workflows are also built on the ServiceNow platform within ASP. And you see on the right of the slide some extra, let's say, workflows that we built on the platform regarding fleet management and expense management. And last thing, we also integrated our event monitoring solution with our ServiceNow environment. Of course, we also look at the future. These are some things that we will, let's say, bring in future release of our internal ASP instance. And as just like every customer, we are always looking at new releases from ServiceNow to see if there are things in there that are interesting for us. And I must say, when we first had a look at the Quebec release, it is really impressive. I mean, all the things that are in there, there's really a lot of new stuff in the Quebec release, and it is almost impossible for us to guide you through all these new features. That is why we have chosen to, let's say, focus our attention on a few of them that we think, that they're really interesting for our customers. And the one that I will be focusing on is UI Builder. So this new UI, which logical stands for UI User Interface Builder, is totally different from the UI Builder that maybe you guys know from the Orlando release, which is now called the Legacy UI Builder. Actually, this new version goes way beyond what we knew before, and that was more of like the creation of landing pages. No, this new thing really is a full web user interface that also shows you the final interface that your users will get to see. That is what we call there with the what you see is what you get. While you're building, you immediately see the results of the things that you're building. Of course, we already were able to, let's say, to bring a lot of modifications to portals and to workspaces. But if we think building a custom portal, it was often starting with what is in there and then copying widgets, and very fast you were really touching the code of these widgets. I mean, I know that people are here present in the audience that played around with widgets a lot. I mean, very fast you touch upon the code, and really the idea of UI Builder is to take out that complexity of things and really make it more user friendly, and that even people with, let's say, less technical skills can also build portals and workspaces. Now, what I suggest is that we take a look at how this looks like in real life. So I will switch now to one of my developer instances, which is here. So here I am logged in as myself, of course, in one of my developer instances. And as from the first screen, you really see that ServiceNow puts UI Builder, you see it here, on the same level as Integration Hub, Flow Designer, Mobile Studio. So it's really a key element in building user interfaces for your users. Now, if you type here UI Builder, you will see UI Builder. You click on it and it will open it up here. I had it open because it takes like 15 seconds to load. I wanted to avoid this loading. The first thing you see when you open up the UI Builder is what is called experiences. You see my experience. I mean, really the base of everything is that experience. And what is in fact an experience? It is nothing more, nothing less than a portal or a workspace. I think you all know Agent Workspace, which is in there since, I don't know exactly which release, but that is something that we know. But this tool will allow you to create your own experiences. So let's do that. And I click here, create experience in platform. It will bring me to the backend where I need to create my experience. So I click new. And the use case that we are going to build here, or the use case that I will use an example, is we have in this instance a service request which is called packaging and shipping. This is a service request that goes to a separate team handling only these kind of requests. So we want to build a nice view for them outside of the workspace, outside of Agent Workspace, because the people working on these requests, they have nothing to do with, let's say, IT incidents. They only work on these kind of requests, and we build an experience for them. Now, in my experience, of course, I need to give it a title. I need to give it a URL. This is actually the, let's say, the prefix of the portal. This is the link that you will use. So it's name of the instance /now, and then the thing you mentioned here, the URL path. This is an important one, app shell UI. You need to make a selection, and I see that ServiceNow has even since a few days added more things. Here, in fact, you select your app shell. The most important ones, the most advanced ones in here are portal app shells and workspace app shells. I will select for this demo portal app shell. What it does is it's really a wrapper for your experience. So it defines what kind of experience that you're building. And for portal app shell, you will get header, footer. If I would select here Agent Workspace, you will have on the left the communication pane that we all know from Agent Workspace, where you have the chat window. You see the incidents coming in on the left. That is Agent Workspace. For now, I will select portal app shell. And then a very important thing, and I must say I needed to spend a few, let's say, quite some time to figure this out. You need to select here admin panel, and you need to create a new one. Doesn't matter which one, but it needs to be a new one created here. Otherwise, your experience will not work. But that is, if you are planning to use a UI builder, note this down somewhere that you don't forget this step. I submit it. I say, okay, I submit my experience in here. If we now go back to our UI builder and I refresh this page, I should see my experience. So this is the one that I just created, packaging and shipping. Let's open it up. There's not much. The first thing you need to do in experience is create a page. So I will create my page. I need, of course, to give it a name. And as mentioned, we will build an experience to have a look at packaging requests. I can select here a template, which is in fact a pre-built thing, which is quite interesting, but I will not do it for now. I will just say create. It will create my page. And now you will see here you can fill out required parameters. You can do it here. This is linking your page to a table, for instance, or defining which parameters you want to pass in the URL. There are also optional ones. I will do it not in this stage, but I will do it later on. You also see variants in here. This is very interesting. You can, for the same URL, you've seen that I built a URL for this page. The same URL can be published or can be shown to different audiences. And you don't need to completely rework the, let's say, the page. This is built on user criteria and roles. So let's say someone with managerial rights can have additional views on the data than a normal user. That is where you would define these kind of things. For now, I will just say done. And this is where you end up in the actual UI builder. I will quickly go over the things that you will see here. On the left, we see the section with the pages, the variants, if any, and then the content of the page. As you will add more content on the page, you will see this building up here. Now, the content of the page, this is in the middle, and it's actually, it exists out of components. So you add components on your page, and then on the right, you see the configuration panel of these components. Now so I'm in the packaging requests page. Let's add some components on the page. I will start by clicking here. At first, I need to select a container. I can select if it's multiple columns, multiple rows. I have access to CSS styles here, so I really can do a lot of stuff, defining the format of my container. For now, I will use just one like this. And as we will need some more containers afterwards, I will add them here. So I can click here on this one. You see, add after. The container will be added after this one. And for this, I use one like this. And then the third one that we'll use later on, I will again choose one of these. Should be okay. Let me just save for now. And now we need to add components. You see on the left-hand side here, you see the containers being added. You see I'm now on container 1, and I will add a component to this first container. So as mentioned, we want to build a view on a certain type of service requests. So this will be a list, but before I select my list, I will show you all the possibilities that are, let's say, provided by ServiceNow out of the box. So these are all components that you can use and that you can drag into your page. Now, these are all really well described also on the developer side of ServiceNow. So for the people who have an account, take a look. You will find the information also there, and it's really per component defined what you can do with all these components. Now, for my use case, I will use a list, and I will use a simple list because we want to present records on the screen. So I select here list. You see that on the right, I have my configuration panel for the component I just added. So I added a list, and out of the box, it's pointing to the task table. That is not what we want in here. We want it to be pointed to the request item table. So rec item, there it is, requested item. You will see immediately the data. So these are the requested items. I can give it a title. So here I will say shipping. It's actually packaging and shipping. Packaging and shipping. Packaging and shipping requests. Requests. I can build here a filter. Because, actually I need to do it. Why? Because I only want to show packaging and shipping items. You also see here other items which I do not want in this experience. So I edit my filter and I say, if I'm not mistaken, it is item. Item is packaging. There it is packaging and shipping, and I apply it. So immediately you see it gets filtered out. I have next to the filtering, I can define which columns I can see, but this looks fine from a first point of view. So you can define the maximum number of rows, the maximum number of columns. Then there are some cool things here. You can hide the header. You see the header disappearing in the middle, appearing, disappearing as I switch on or switch off the thing. I can hide the title. You see that the records, you see this tree, so 3 records. I can also hide this. So this is quite powerful. Now, let me first save it once more. Now, how does it look like for a user? I can open it up here. Opening this can take a few seconds of time, so it is loading, which is normal. Give it some time. There it is. You see the thing that we've built. Now, again, on layout, we don't have time to spend here on layout, but I want to give you an idea on the flexibility on how easy it is to bring or to add components on a page. Now, if I click on one of these things, as you can see, nothing happens. Oh, this is not the Murphy effect. It's actually quite normal behavior. Why? Because I need to define the behavior of the portal when a user takes an action. And that is actually where you see here events. So I'm back in my UI builder. You see something in this page like events. This is where I need to define the behavior of my page. You see here what happens when I click a row. I can add a new event handler. And for this one, we will, let's say, point it to a destination. And my destination is, in fact, another page. So I first need to create that other page. So let's create a second page where you will see how I link these two pages together. And here it becomes really interesting. So create second page. So as you noticed, there was nothing to see when I clicked the request. So I will call this page packaging details. Again, I can add templates just as with any page. I will not do it here. Let me create a page. And for this page, we will need to add a required parameter because otherwise it cannot know what needs to be shown. So I actually need to link it with the sysid. Let me see. Let's do it like this. Packaging details ID, and I will save it. Okay, this is good. I'm in the packaging details page. Of course, I need also to define what I will show on this page, and I will show we want to see the details. That is a form fields. Now, this is also good to know. If you type form, you will see form for templates, form fields. I must say I did lose a lot of time when playing around with forms. If you want to link two pages like this together, you really need to take form fields. Otherwise, it will not do the trick. This is pointing out of the box to the incident table, which is not something we want to see. We want it to also point it to request item. To request item, do it like this. I can apply a view here. Well, let's just use the default view. sysid. If you see, this is now, if I use this one, it is hard coded, but I need to link it to the parameter that we just defined. So I need to make the relation here. So I select this one. It is the thing that you've seen me create this. Let's save. So this is my page requested item. Okay, this is fine. What I need to do now is to link the two pages. So let's go back to packaging requests. This is this page, and I need now to select here in the events. I need to define what happens when I actually click that row. As I mentioned, we need to link to a destination, and my destination is the page that I just created. So you see it here. You see the pages that exist in this experience. So the one that we need to point it to is packaging details. And here I need to, again, make the link. And it is, it took me also quite some time to sort this out. You need to point here to the payload sysid. Otherwise, you will not be able to link the pages. And then you can click OK. I add it. Let me just to be sure to save it again. And let's go back to our portal page. So this is the interface that the users see. You will see here, as I mentioned, instance name /now/packaging, the name of my experience, and here the name of the page that we are into. And now if I click on an item, it should show something. And yes, I was able to link these two pages because now I'm routed to the details of my request. So this is how you actually build pages. You link them together. That is something really important that you will need to do in the UI builder, because from a user perspective, you expect that when you click that it's actually going to somewhere, but you need to define where it goes to and what is the action. So what is the action that needs to be taken? Is going to a destination. Now, one last thing that I really wanted to show you guys is how to interact with the backend of ServiceNow, how to get backend data in ServiceNow. Let me just say here. Now let's say that we want to build a view of the catalog tasks that are linked with these requests. And we want to highlight let's say the next upcoming task for the logged in user. I will first, I thought I selected this. Okay, let's build something like this, a text. So I need to do some text, and I will say my next upcoming task is, I will do it like this. Well, again, here you can play with HTML and CSS to have full control on the look and feel of what you're building. But for now, I want to show you how you interact with the data in the platform. So I also need to add in a component here. But before we do that, again, let me save it. And I will show you how you can use data sources. So next to this panel, you also have the small bar in here, which goes you to, can bring it to pages, can bring it directly to components, but also to data. And this is quite powerful, as here you can add, it's right here, you can add a data resource. Let me do that. And you have access to the entire platform. So you have access to the entire backend. Let's select these old applications. The one that I want to point to is in the global one. And here you immediately see the, let's say, the power of ServiceNow. We also know this from other aspects. We know this from Flow Designer. It makes me think a bit of, let's say, look and feel of Flow Designer. But here I can look up records, and you immediately see the data that you will get. So this is what I will do. I will look up records. I need to click add in here because I want to show, oops, I get an error. Okay, this is normal because there is no table selected. I need or I want to show my next upcoming catalog tasks. So it is needed catalog task. I need to point it to catalog task, which is quite nice. You immediately see here on the right the results of your query. So you see what you will get. I mean, this is from, let's say, a developer point of view, but you immediately see the results of the things that you define here. I need to build in conditions. So edit conditions, and I want to show, let's say, the catalog tasks, they have a due date, and I want to show the ones that are in the future. So after, let's say after yesterday, oops, after, need to click here, after yesterday, and the ones that are assigned to is dynamic is me, and let's apply it. Does this make sense? Yes, I see. I know that there are two in the, I can show you later on, but there are two tasks on my name in the backend. Here you can define, you see return fields. Yeah, what are the fields that you really want to, that you want to see? I want to show the short description. So I select here in my return fields, show description. And again, you immediately see it also popping up here on the right. Oh yeah, otherwise it will not make sense. Let's order it by due date, because I want the next task coming up. I can here play with the order, so ascending, descending. Well, let me just, if I type descending, you will see here on the right, change the order. Let's go for the ascending one.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no issue.
Perhaps from a timing perspective, it would be better if we could move on to Florent's part.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, no issue. No issue. Let me just save this one here. And I will need to, but I will give the word to Florent in 1 minute. I will close this one. And then the last thing you need to do is to, again, put it here in your component where you need to add a text area. And then just as we did with the pages, you need to link your data source here on the page. But again, I see that indeed time is running out. With this, I will conclude this part of the presentation, of the demo. I hope it was interesting and that you were able to see the power of the UI builder. And with this being said, I now give the word to Florent. So Florent, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Hans. So hello everyone, and thank you Cornel and Hans for this very nice introduction. Today I'm going to talk about the brand new features in the Quebec release about Flow Designer and mobile. So let's have a deeper look at what's new regarding the ServiceNow Flow Designer. Namely the tool that enables business owners to create flows using natural language and logic to automate approvals, tasks, notification, and so forth. Flow Designer received some general updates, as you can see on the left, including a facelift. So as from now on, if, else, and if else flow logic have been redesigned. If and else if are now a diamond, while else is a dot. So in this way, all of them are not a circle anymore, which is more correlated with natural and traditional way to show a decision block. Also, the Flow Designer has received a guided start, a guided tour, in order to help you with the first steps in the app. And finally, the Flow Designer has received, for example, an embedded help button on the top right of the screen. The action picker, has been updated visually, allowing you to get most recent and popular selections that you might need most. And you also have this very small active button that you can see on the left picture that will allow you to know whether or not you are on an active or inactive flow. But today, my main focus will be on the flow variables, my favorite features. Those are similar to the workflow scratchpad variables that you might already know. You are now able to create variables that you can use and modify directly in your flow. And those variables will be accessible as data pills directly in the data panel. You will use flow variables to set and retrieve values throughout a flow that are not directly related to a record, such as a counter, for example. while inputs and outputs that already exist are respectively available at the beginning or at the end of a subflow, flow variables will be available throughout the entire flow to meet the needs of your company more than ever before. Before diving into a demo, I will show you what I'm going to present you regarding my second topic, namely the mobile in Quebec. So the very first feature I want to present you is the advanced search, AI search, that will provide a more consumer-like experience across the platform by allowing user to benefit from autocorrect typos in search query areas, listings of recent and popular searches, but also autocomplete search queries. For example, if you start typing your first name and the beginning of your last name, you will be able to hear on your screen. But today, again, I will focus on something else, my favorite feature, the mobile car builder. So as a reminder, until Paris release, a couple of patterns were available for you to choose the layout you wanted for your cards, but this was very limited. And as from Quebec, the mobile car builder allows you to be the master of your card layout and to really create or modify card templates using a graphical interface. As before, these cards will be used on applet launcher item section, calendar applets, list applets, form applets, and map applets. But I decided to choose a list applets for my demo today that I will show you later on. So yeah, once you created your data item and linked it to your applet, you will be able to make changes to your list and form screen as you were doing before. But as from Quebec, you will really be able to create your own templates that will be potentially applied to multiple card layouts and that will be tailored for the needs of your organization. Moreover, you will have the chance to benefit from the brand new card actions that will allow you to have small buttons that you can click on directly on the card without having the need to enter the record himself. So I will now switch to my demo. So let me share my screen. Here it is. Just a second. Yeah, so here it is. Here we are in the new flow variables, in the new flow designer, sorry. So I will propose you to show you first the new facelift button. Here the flow is inactive, but it might be activated. Also, you will have the chance to benefit from the new action picker with most recent and popular sections. But today I will focus on my flow variables here that you need to create by clicking on the three dots in the top right of the screen. So let's click on that. Here you can see that I created a variable called AG group member to make reference to the assignment group member. So here you need to create a label, a name, and a type. 5 different types are available for use. So true, false, integer, JSON, reference, and string. Here I decided to use a string type of flow variables. So here's a problem that a client asked us to resolve some time ago, and we found that it was interesting to show it to you by using the new flow variable. So the idea was to, whenever the software group is assigned to an incident, every person present in this group has to be copied into the work note list. So here what I did is to trigger, to make the flow being triggered every time the software group was assigned to the assignment group. Then the flow will have a lookup in this to the group members. And thanks to the new flow variables, and by putting it into the loop, we'll be able to retrieve the sysid of every user present in the software group. So basically, you need to put both the flow variable as well as what you want to retrieve in order that every time the new sysid is stored, you can use these new flow variables wherever you want inside your flow. So here, for example, I wanted the work notes list to be updated. So I just needed to add my flow variables and linked it to the work note list. So what I can propose you is to test it right now. So for example, let's use the incident number 00052 because this is related to a software group. I will run the test right now and show you how it looks like. Just a second. Yeah. So here we can see that 5 members have been added to the work note list. I will show it to you thanks to my incident number 52. And as you can see, the 5 people have been added to this work note list. So this highlights why flow variable can be very useful, but of course there is plenty of other uses that can be made. Now let's move on to the other demo I want to show you. This one will be related to the mobile studio. So here I created an applet that would sort the incident based on priority. I will show you how to configure the layout of your different cards appearing on your mobile. So before you had to choose a pattern and to drag and drop fields, if you can remember. Now you need to click on the Customize in Mobile Card Builder, or you can open it in the platform to access the JSON code. But today we are going to focus on this Customize in Mobile Card Builder. And you will see that it looks like what my colleagues Hans show it to you for the UI builder, but here it's adapted for mobile more specifically. So let's just wait seconds for this to open. Okay, so here when we enter this new interface, you can see the card that is currently used on your mobile. So first thing first, if I want to change the content of these cards, it will be related to the cards. I can do it there. If it's related to the layout of the cards, I will need to change the template. So to do so, I will propose you to choose a template that can fit our needs. For example, the applet 01 because it's best for incidents. Let's open it. So it's important to know that ServiceNow provides read-only templates that you cannot modify except by duplicating it. So we will duplicate it for our example. You need to rename it. So for example, Quebec release here, save it. So as from now, you can work on the template himself. Here, I would like to, I don't know, add a new container here, or here it can be good as well. I would like to include a new picture as well as a new field in order to have a view on my on the person that opened the incident. So I can add an image. You have to click every time on the shadow bar in order to access the plus button. Box as well. And also you have a very nice new feature that is the possibility to add the card action, as I said before, in order to add small buttons on the cards. But I'm not going to show you to show it to you right now because it could be a bit time consuming. So I will just add another text box and save my template. So once you're done with the layout of your template, you need to go back to the cards by opening it. Here you have a small filter to choose your application and applets priority. Out of the box, ServiceNow is providing 2 different view, one for the list, one for the form. Here we are going to choose the list one. Here is what we had before, and to apply the new template we've just created, you need to access this menu, change template, access my template, select the one you've just created there. And here is the brand new card that you will need to fulfill in order to fit your needs. So now it's time to have a look at the content himself. So you have the choice between 3 field type: field value, field label, and static text. The field value is really about the value of a field. For example, for priority, it could be high, medium, low. The field label is only the name of the field, so priority, and a static text, sorry, can be for every piece of text that you want to add on every card. So here, for example, I can add the priority name. So you can access the mapped field, type it into I also want the field. So again, you type it in the field and select it. And here in the value, I can add a static text, for example, and I can add thank you for the good work. So here it is how it works for the field type and text value and field value. And on the left side, you have access to your different to the structure of your different components. So I will just save it. So yeah, as you can see, I can access the different components via this menu on the left side. And last interesting thing I want to show you before I give the floor to my colleague is to show you the preview you now have with the availability to update the preview to have a different set of info every time. So you can keep on clicking the update review in order to have different views, different examples of how it might look like. So thank you all and see you later. I will now give the floor to my colleague, Roman.
Thank you, Florent. Thank you, Hans, for your presentation. So my name is Roman. I'm an ASP consultant. I've been working at ASP for now 5 months. And today, what I'm going to show you is the reporting in the Quebec release, the most exciting features. So I selected 3 of them. The first one is the reporting in natural language. The second one is the reporting on record producer question. And the last one is the configuration of function field. So first of all, I'm going to go through all of them to give you some explanation. And then what I'm going to do is immediately go to the demo to show you how it actually works. So first, the reporting in natural language. So if you remember before the Quebec release, when you wanted to create a report, what you had to do is enter a table, enter a type, enter groups, sorting, filters, conditions, and so on. Now you don't need to do any of that anymore. You can just write a sentence, and ServiceNow is actually going to understand what you want to build in a report, in your report, and it's going to build it for you. So it's much easier. I'm going to show you right after the presentation here. The second point that I want to show you today is the reporting on record producer question, which is actually, well, as the name says, we now are able to build a report based on questions of record producers, like, for example, create an incident. This is pretty interesting for stat purposes, among other things. Yeah, so let's look into it right after. And the last point that I want to show you today is the configuration of function field. This is, yeah, personally my favorite feature. It's actually the possibility to create function on fields. So you won't be able to use only now the fields of records, but also input, how can I say, put functions on the field, and you will be able to use this function and the result just as any other field in your records. So let's immediately go to the demonstration. Okay. Yes. So to do so, obviously, like as usual, we're going to enter report in the application navigator and just click on create new. So I'll take my sticky note to go a bit faster. So yeah, this is the previous method of ServiceNow to create a report, and this is the new one. First, what I want to show you is the little button here that can be really interesting for understanding how you can create a sentence that ServiceNow is going to understand. So here you have all the words that ServiceNow is going to understand. You can check the examples. You have metrics, counts, trends over time, sorting, grouping. Just look at them and learn from them. So for my example here, I want ServiceNow to show us all the open incidents by month, created less than a year ago, where the priority is 1 and the short description contain SAP, and it should be grouped by color. So let's just ask ServiceNow. We wait a bit. The report is loading, and actually we have the report that we want immediately, just with 1 sentence. So let's check it to be sure. So we have all the open incidents created less than a year ago. Yeah, the priority is 1, and the short description contains SAP. It's grouped by color, and it's trended by month. So it's actually exactly what we wanted, what we asked. Let's do another example for this part. So also what I wanted to show you is that we can ask questions to ServiceNow, and ServiceNow is going to understand us creating the report we need actually. So for example, how many incidents were created last year by me, and we want it to be grouped by state. We ask ServiceNow, and yeah, you have the report you just asked without doing anything, actually, just writing a sentence. You can also see that the sentence you wrote is actually the title of your report. So just for your sake, just for your information. Then second point is the report on record producers questions. And to do so, what we are going to ask ServiceNow is, well, give us the incident where the short description contains email. We ask ServiceNow, and we have the list of all the incidents where the short description contains email. So what we are going to do, and what's actually the new feature, is select question in the group by list. So where is it? Right here. So we have the questions, and we end up on all the record producer that we have in our instance. Let's click on create incidents, and here you'll see everything that will appear on your record producer. You can just select one. We'll select this one for this example. So is it a recurring issue? And we run. So we'll see that now we have 2 lists, one where it's not a recurring issue, and the other one where it's actually a recurring issue. We can also obviously choose columns. To do so, you click on choose column. You go at the end, at the bottom of your list. You have question here. You expand it, and you select the record producer that you are interested in. So create incident. Now you have all the questions, and what you are going to select is approximately how many times have you had the issue. So double click on it, it appears right here. We run the report, and yep, it's actually right here. So we can check it. Is it a recurring issue? Yes, it is. We click on it, and yeah, we saw that it happened 6 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and so on. So it's working. You can obviously also change the type. Let's take a bar chart, for example, and now it's reporting on a recurring recurring issue and a unique issue. So yeah, just play with it. We can do much more, but we don't have time to show you everything today, obviously. And the last point that I wanted to show you today is the configuration of function fields. So my personal favorite. Let's click on create new, and now we're going to use the old method of ServiceNow. So the report name would be what day of the week are incident created. We want a table, and the table will be incident. We click on next. We select the bar chart. Next. And so now we have all the active incidents and the inactive incidents. That's obviously what not what we want now. But see, there's a button here, configure function field. If you click on it, so they ask you to save and continue. Yep, of course. And yeah, this is the new interface actually that ServiceNow is offering you. Let's write a label. So we'll say day of the week incidents are created. Incidents are created. Then you choose a return type. So we have you have multiple return type. You have just look at the details, the type, the examples, and you'll understand really easily. So we'll select the whole number for this example. And now this is where the magic happens. Actually, we click on select to add an operation. You have all the operation that you can use. For each operation, you have the function details and you have examples. So for this example, we're going to choose day of the week. Let's read what we should do with it. So it says it takes a date field and a constant, either 1 if the week starts on Sunday and 2 if the week starts on Monday. So yeah, let's click on it. It's building automatically. We selected the field, so we know it's a date field, and we want the created incident. So let's put created, and we want it to start on Monday. So yeah, see, the syntax is correct for this function, so it will probably work. Finger crossed, obviously. And yes, it seems to work. So nothing has changed, but actually you've created one field that you can use and which will be really, really interesting for you. So let's go in group by. We're going to select the field we just created. So day of the week. Let's see if it's, yep, it's right here. Day of the week incidents are created and we run. Yep, it seems to have worked. So now let's also sort it. So also we choose the same. It's like a field like any field. So this is pretty cool. We sort it and we run. And so what I really like about this is that, for example, for these questions, we know that, well, on Wednesday and Thursday, well, we have much more incidents than on Sunday and Monday. So maybe it might be interesting to hire one or more service desk agent to work on these days and one less maybe on Monday and Sunday. So it's really useful for managerial decision, according to me. And yeah, it's only one example, but you can have plenty more. So just play with the new function, look at it, and if you have any question, shoot them in the chat and I'll try to answer them. So yep, thanks. I'm done with my presentation. Back to you, Cornel.
Okay, now we've got some time to answer some questions. There was one about the UI builders. Perhaps Hans can answer that one shortly.
Yes, it's actually a very good question. We had the same question, and from what we understood from ServiceNow, that in the first phase, it really is oriented towards creating new experiences. So if you were about to, or if you have a request now from the business, creating a new portal or creating a new agent, a new workspace, the advice really is to use UI Builder, but all the stuff, how we do it today, will still be in there for some time. And I did not see, or maybe that will change in the future, but I did not see a way now to import in a way the existing portals into UI Builder. I did not see it. And the communication from ServiceNow is really on, let's say, the new things to be built. But again, this is the direction that they're going to. That's what I also posted in the chat. It is a bit like with the discussion between old workflows and Flow Designer. Clearly, the future is Flow Designer, but the old traditional workflows were still there for quite some time. And it's only now that I see ServiceNow creating flows with Flow Designer, for instance, for change management. We see that happening now. So it's not let's say, a hard stop of old ways of working. It's just adding new things in a smooth transition. In the future, it clearly will be a UI Builder.
Okay,
Definitely.
okay, that's a good answer, I think. And then there was one more question for you, Romain. How resilient is the natural language parser, and can it process misspelling or a different word order? Could you give a concise answer on that question, perhaps?
Yeah, so I know that for the orders, it's not important. So as long as you have the correct words, but yeah, you should be cautious with the misspelling because it won't work. So they will ask you to try again and give other words to find like the correct sentence for ServiceNow to understand. But I guess we'll have improvements in the future, obviously.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, but that's a good answer again. I don't see any other questions, so I guess we can round this webinar up. So what have we seen? In conclusion, we've covered the UI builder. We've seen how vast the library of design components within this UI builder is and how it enables you to build or update workspace and portal pages. Next to that, we've also seen a demonstration by Florent on the Flow Designer and mobile. On the one hand side, the simplified user face and then the general mobile enhancements. And lastly, we've seen the reporting enhancements and added features by Romain. So yeah, that was it for today. All in all, we hope that we've reached our goal of showing what value these new features of the Quebec release can really bring. If you do have any more questions later on, for example, you can always get in touch with us through solutions@asp.be. And also stay tuned to learn more about ServiceNow and the Quebec release in our blog series. It's called Hidden Gems of ServiceNow. And through this medium, we want to share tips and tricks regarding ServiceNow and the new releases. So keep your eye on our socials to be informed about this and also other content or events such as webinars. All in all, we do hope you found this interesting, and thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye.
Bye bye everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.